How powerful is Nigel Farage? He's the man behind Brexit.
Independence Day!
Nigel Farage is leader of the right-wing Reform UK party, and he is now in pursuit of power. Reform UK only has 4 MPs, but its support in the polls is rising. And since the end of March 2025, The Economist's poll tracker has put it narrowly in first place. This success was cemented in the local elections which took place in parts of England on May the 1st. Reform scored some notable victories, and most notably, Reform won the by-election in Runcorn and Helsby by just 6 votes, one of the closest parliamentary elections ever, and overturning Labour's large majority. Farage has been in British politics for decades. It took him 8 attempts to enter Parliament, but now he's there, he's set his sights on the top job. He wants Reform to replace the Tories as the dominant party of the British right. With the Conservatives out of power, Farage casts Reform as a more energetic alternative to an unpopular Labour government. If he can convince more Tory donors and members of that logic, he could generate meaningful momentum. Farage focuses on immigration, which Reform voters are far more likely to cite as their top priority than the electorate at large. Net migration to Britain has been well above long-term trends since 2021, and Farage is willing to advocate radical policies that others won't.
Everyone that comes illegally will be deported, full stop, end of story.
This is propelling Reform's popularity, and it's an existential threat to the Conservative Party. A quarter of those who voted for Boris Johnson's Conservatives in 2019 switched to Reform in 2024, leading the Tories to their worst defeat in nearly 200 years. By comparison, just 10% moved to Labour. And the Tories have unravelled further since Kemi Badenoch took over as leader. Of those who voted Conservative in 2024, a further fifth have now shifted to Reform. A growing number of Conservative figures are now calling for a Unite the Right pact, which would seek to carve up the electoral map with Reform and spare the Tories from destruction. Badenoch insists she'll do no business with a man who wants to replace the Tories. But there may be more pressure now that Reform has swept up so many council seats. At the next general election, potentially not until 2029, Farage will go it alone in search of a majority. But there could be a hung parliament, and a coalition between Reform and the Tories is at least a possible outcome. Either way, he may soon be one of the most powerful people in Britain.